Today, you'll learn how to transform your leads from this to this. This is all done with fairly simple processing, but understanding the processing and the order of each insert is what's important. So let's jump into it. What we're looking at today is the processing on the lead bus. This is the final bus that all your lead sounds connect to. Now, before we look at the processing, it's important to understand that your lead is only going to be as good as the layers it's made up of, right? Processing is not going to save badly picked lead sounds. So really, first of all, that's where your focus should be. If you're interested, I offer a lead pack that's fully optimized for lead layering. All right, for this demonstration, let's quickly look at the layers used for this lead. We have two low-end layers, one for the sub and one for the stereo content. Then we have two chord layers, one standard chord and one an octave above it. And for the top lead, we have three layers with a mix of clean and distorted elements. And just to clarify, the processing we're talking about here is only applied to the upper layers of the lead. The low end should not be part of this processing. All right, let's look at the inserts. So first we have an inflator. The effect is at 100%, and then to counter the added volume, I've turned down the output. This is for saturation. Saturation has many use cases, but specifically for inflator, a lot of people seem to believe that its only use case is to add loudness. That's not the case at all, and loudness is not the reason why it's placed first on the lead bus. The purpose here is to add consistency and then to tie all the different lead layers together. Let's take a listen to it. The effect is subtle, but it gently averages out the lead and it catches some of the peaks, which is super important for the next inserts in the chain. The next couple of inserts are compressors, and the purpose of compression on the lead bus is to manipulate the dynamics of the lead. The dynamics of the lead means how the attack behaves, how the body behaves, and how the tail behaves. For this specific lead, the individual layers are very static. They have very little attack and they have no movement in the sound design. So the thought process here is that a bit of compression would be able to bring some life into the lead. This step very much depends on your lead layers and what type of lead design you're going for. For example, if your lead layers already have the dynamics dialed in by using the ADSR settings, you wouldn't necessarily need compression. But modern leads generally have very expressive attacks and the sound of compression over the leads. Let's take a listen to it. Now, in this case, I'm using two individual compressors to get that nice and sharp attack on the lead. I prefer to keep the processing to a minimum, but in this case, one compressor didn't cut it. I also like to try out different compressors with every lead because compressors sound different on different leads. These two compressors are broadband compressors, meaning the compression is applied on the entire frequency range equally. But multiband compression is also very well suited for hardstyle leads. One compressor we should all know is OTT. OTT is really good at giving leads more drive. It provides a constant energy level, it brings out the attack, and it gives that compressed body that modern leads are chasing. Let's try out the OTT. Next insert is a simple EQ. The role of this insert is to tonally balance the lead. In some cases, as with this one, the compressor or other plugins have colored the lead and pushed it out of balance. In this case, it's the CLA2A that is adding a lot of brightness to the lead. So the EQ is basically just adjusting it back to its original balance. In any case, this is the place to EQ to make those final adjustments to the frequency spectrum of your lead. Some people like to high cut and low cut. I would say be careful with that because unless it is really necessary mixing tone-wise or bring meaningful improvements to the lead, this can easily harm your lead through phase shifts and ringing. This is something we're fully diving into in my upcoming masterclass. But let's take a listen to the EQ. For the last insert, you want to limit your lead in some way or another. This can be done with clipping, it can be done with saturation, or as in this case, it can be done with limiting. Now, the reason why limiting is interesting is because it provides different options and different outcomes than that of clipping. The primary difference between the two is that a limiter starts processing the signal before it reaches 0, and of course, a clipper only does that at the point of 0 dB. And what this means is that sometimes a limiter can be more transparent, less digital sounding. It can be pushed harder without distorting, and it can sound different and sometimes better on transients. This all depends on the lead, of course. Sometimes a limiter is a disaster on leads, but I'd always recommend to try out different options to see what works best. Let's see what clipping versus limiting sounds like. So in this case, the limiter is holding the lead back just a little bit, which I actually think complements it more. The inflator is acting as clipping, and with clipping it's more in your face, but that's not necessarily needed here, I would say. All right, so some final words on the plugin order, because this is not just random. This plugin order is very deliberate. Saturation is placed first because it has the ability to tie everything together and, very importantly, to manage microdynamics. If we don't manage the microdynamics, the compressor that comes after will have a way harder time reacting to the lead the way we actually want it to. You see, you want the compressor to react to the overall content of the lead, not all the small spikes in it, because this makes the compression very jittery and uneven. Saturation helps with that, and even before the saturation, you could also choose to EQ to remove parts of the lead that would cause an uneven compression. But the order is very important to understand. You could place the saturation after the compression, no problem, and you would still get the positive benefits from the saturation, but then the compressors would react to all the small spikes in your lead layers, right? The EQ is placed late in the chain, once again to create the final balance of your total lead. That should make sense. And for the limiting in the end, this largely depends on your mixing style. It's not necessarily a must that you cut your lead at 0 dB, but I would recommend it because it helps keep both your lead and the rest of the mix tight and predictable. This step could also be seen as the place to maximize your lead. So if it hasn't got sufficient volume yet, this would be the place to push it. All right, that's all I had for you today. Check out my lead pack if you want truly optimized layers for your leads. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.